Hey guys, Kevin DeVries here with Grace Explorations. Thank you so much, those of you that came to base camp this past spring. Essentially, all 4 events were sold out at Founders Brewery, and I can't thank you enough for coming and also for inviting your friends. I was completely blown away that you would take the time to invite men to come and be part of this gathering of stories, if you will. It was an incredible opportunity to just see what a new face of men's ministry could look like. I was also blown away by the fact that men were coming from all over the state of Michigan, from as far as 100 miles away. I mean, they passed by a lot of breweries to get to Founders. So it leads to this question of what brand of beer is being sold at this thing? That 4 men's ministry events would be sold out. What type of thirst would drive a man to drive 100 miles to be a part of a night of stories? I think if we take a step back, we'll begin to realize that this is nothing really new. It's been around for a long time, but we seem to have stumbled into it anew. I think that the brand of beer is actually a band of brothers, of guys that are getting together, they're doing life together, and I think that the type of thirst that we are quenching or are attempting to quench is this thirst for the authentic life. To lead a life like Christ, to lead a life of authentic manhood. I think you could say that Christ is the author of authentic manhood. When you want to become a man, I think the best way to do that is to become like Christ. I think you could argue that base camp is actually the well at world's end, and that Christ as the living water inside that well makes men in the end well, which is the big question that he asks us as men. Do you want to get well? I think in other ways you could say that God is still in the brewing business, and instead of the hops of Michigan as part of his organic ingredients, I think he's making every effort to reach the hearts of men. He's brewing his beauty and his brokenness and his blessing and the power of the gospel inside the hearts of men. It feels like in many ways we kind of stumbled into base camp as soldiers and we walked out as sons. There's something about the mystery of story that sin and shame seems to fall away from a man's heart when stories are told in safe places. There's something beautiful about a place of community where a man who brings his loneliness into a community of men finds that laughter is drowning out those empty quarters, that vast nebula, that huge desert that is just dry and thirsting for fellowship with men, but he doesn't know how to go about it, and so he stumbles into it like an oasis in the desert, and all of a sudden he begins to realize, wow, this is what I've been missing. I've been missing a community of men to do life with. What is it about the atmosphere that seems to be permeating base camp where you find guys walking in with all these, with a religion? They're dragging it around like a ball and chain, and you could see as the stories are being told that every link is being snapped one by one, and they're finding that, wow, this religion thing that I was carrying around as a defense mechanism to not experience God, all the shame and sin that I kept putting in front of God, like God can't work through that or work around that to work with me towards that, is all of a sudden obliterated. It's almost like their arguments were overcome with awe. And instead of a religion, they found something real, a real relationship with Christ, a real relationship with themselves, and a real relationship with other men. I want you to imagine for a moment here. We've experienced this on a nightly basis for 4 nights this past spring. This atmosphere that I just have described. Can you imagine taking that beyond the night into a day? A long format where we basically take some of the same ingredients that makes base camp so unique and so powerful, and we take that into a longer format. So instead of one story, we tell multiple stories. And we do it in a barn somewhere or underneath a large tent like Bilbo's 111th birthday party. And this thing goes into a long form where bonfires are burning long into the night and stories are being told around bonfires and in a group setting. And men are finding health and healing in the telling of those stories, where we're not only have some elements of brewery, if you will, but there's also baptisms happening, all at the same time. Can you imagine something like that? Almost like a wedding of Cana meets Bilbo's 111th birthday party, where these things just collide together and in a long play day format, we begin to experience what we experienced just for a night at Founders Brewery. Can you imagine a little bit further with me, where instead of just taking this thing from a night into a day, but into a week end, where we go to the Upper Peninsula like we're advertising here at Grace Explorations in August, and we're going up into the Upper Peninsula with the band of Brohams, and we're experiencing this beauty, this beautiful brokenness of men coming to grips with their own story, so their story no longer owns them, but they own their own stories. Can you imagine taking that even a step further and going for a week and a half into the Holy Lands and walk where Christ walked in Israel and begin to experience what it must have been like to hear those words, "Come, follow me," and to realize that in those words was an invitation to change the course of human history. He wasn't asking them to join a religious club. He was asking them to give everything they had so that the world could be changed. Every man deep inside wants to be a part of something larger than himself. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And what I'm giving you, or what I am inviting you into, is to be part of something that could change the course of human history. Because what if we took what happened in a night, or in a day, or in a weekend, or in a week, and we took that and it basically became a movement. It became a new age, if you will, an upcoming age of ministry to men. And it could start right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I'm giving you an invitation here. I'm not really asking for hardly anything. I'm inviting you to be part of something that could change the course of human history. I'm inviting you to become part of Grace Explorations. We need help of all kinds of different levels, from coming to events and inviting your friends, to being prayer warriors, to most importantly at this point in our trajectory and our history of Grace Explorations is we need financial partners. We need monthly partners. We need men to say, you know what, I'm going to give X amount of dollars, whether it's $5 or $500 on a monthly basis. And you can do that by donating at graceexplorations.com, or you could do a one-time gift. We need men to rally together to pour funds and to pour energy and to pour prayer into this thing, because this thing is beyond a single man. I'm not asking you to give to me. I'm not asking you even to give to a mission. I'm asking you to give to a movement of men. I'm inviting you to be part of something that could change the course of human history. How many opportunities, men, do you get to be a part of something that significant, where when you look back as an older man someday and you look back on your middle years or your younger years and you don't hold your manhood cheap, and you don't feel like your masculinity was a counterfeit because you were part of something that was larger than yourself, that had a major impact. And so I would ask you to prayerfully consider joining with us, partnering with us. This is an invitation for you to give. This is an invitation for you to receive, because this is larger than any person. It's larger than any singular mission. This is a movement of men that I believe will change the course of human history. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoy doing life with you. I hope we can meet up at base camp or someplace around the globe or over email or wherever. I would love to journey with you as men, as together we become followers of Jesus Christ. Thank you so much.